A friend of mine gave me German Christmas cake. Was it stolen? No, he bought it. What a lovely day to bake. Moin, my name is Arne, German hobby baker who is living in Luxembourg. Today we bake Stollen, or as we say in Germany, Stollen. Stollen is a bread, a very enriched bread, as you see here with all the ingredients, which I show you in a second, which we usually eat during the Christmas season, so in the Advent time. We usually sit together and eat Christmas cakes every Advent, and then we also eat maybe a slice of Stollen. So here's the sourdough starter that we have made yesterday. So as you see, it has a nice little balloon shape, so that's like peak fermentation. A stiff sourdough starter basically enhances the yeast productivity in the sourdough and will also result in a more mild sourdough starter. You take the ratio 1 to 2, so it's basically like 2 parts of flour and 1 part of water. So 100 grams of flour and 50 grams of water, and then 10 grams of sourdough starter or stiff sourdough starter, and then I give it a good stir with a spoon. And at one point this will get a little bit hard, so you can take that out of your glass and then knead it a little bit on your countertop. So I'm trying to collect all of the starter from the edges of the glass, and then I continue kneading the dough. Press that down to my glass container, and then this will sit here at room temperature until tomorrow morning.
The next morning,
we will use sugar and honey, milk, candied lemons, candied oranges. I have raisins that I soaked with rum, but you can also use orange juice, maybe for a more child-friendly version. I have almonds, I have salt, I have butter, yeast, not that much as you see here. I will only use like 5 grams. And then I have flour, and here are the spices that we're going to use. There's anise, there's nutmeg. You can usually also use nutmeg flour, which I didn't have. There's piment, there's cardamom, and there's cinnamon. And all of these ingredients are quite expensive, I know, but it's worth to do it. So we now start adding the ingredients to our mixing bowl. So one by one, let's start with the flour, and then we add the sourdough starter. And then we add the milk. We can also add the sugar, and we can add the honey already. And then we add a little yeast like this one, 5 grams. And that's it for now. Let's start the mixer. Alright, around 8 minutes have been passed now, and you see that the dough is still quite sticky, so I will already start adding some pieces of the butter, not everything at once, but let's see how the dough consistency will change in the next minute. And I will also increase the speed a little. The dough is still quite sticky, and this may cause your kitchen machine to work really hard. When we later add all the other ingredients, this will be a little bit easier, because the raisins, for example, they have soaked, in my case the rum, or in your case maybe the orange juice, so there's some liquid in it. Also like the candied lemon or orange, if you maybe do it yourself, maybe also soak them before, so they're not so dry. And all of these ingredients will add some more liquid into that dough. Alright, it's time to incorporate the rest of the remaining butter, and then I would go full speed for the next couple of minutes before we add the other ingredients. Or maybe we can already, let's already integrate the spices so they can go in as well. So I have reduced the speed of the mixer a little bit, and now it's time to add the salt. It's about now 15 minutes of mixing in total. And we can also add the candied orange and the candied lemons. I hope you see that the consistency of the dough already has changed. And now I would also add the raisins. And to do so, I will squeeze them out a little, so because there's a lot of liquid in here. So let's see how I can show you. So I will squeeze them a little bit with my hand before I add them into the mixer. So make sure you get some of the liquid out, and then you just add them. Oh, doesn't that look beautiful? It already smells quite a lot like Christmas. Super nice. I may add a little of the rum because I think it's still a little too dry, the dough. So I'm carefully now adding a little of the rum just to make it a little more wet.
That's what she said.
I think that's perfect. And now it's time to add the almonds. And I think I also add the rest of the rum. All right, now nearly 20-25 minutes have passed, and I'm now taking out the dough from the mixer, and I will put it in a plastic container, and then it will rest overnight in the fridge. I've got everything, and I have, before I put in the dough in this, I've added a little bit of sunflower oil to that to prevent the dough a bit from sticking. We give it a little cold fold, but I think that's enough. Dough is not sticking at all, so that looks good. And yeah, as there is yeast inside and sourdough, I think I will leave it here at room temperature for about 1 hour to 2 hours in order to get things going, and then I will put it in the fridge overnight, and I see you tomorrow morning then.
The next morning.
Right, it's the next day and we continue with our Stollen. I've placed the dough on my countertop. I've taken it out of the fridge 30 minutes ago. It's still kind of stiff, and this is because all the candied oranges and lemons, they basically reduced the moisture of the dough. So make sure you are soaking them before as well in rum or orange juice or whatever you like. Taking now a little flour, and I'm flattening the dough a bit. I put it to the side, and then I'm doing the same with the other dough. Let's check. Here's a little bit more. That's here. Side. All right, I want to incorporate marzipan, and that's why I'm now dividing a block of marzipan, and I'm rolling that a little bit to get a cigar shape. That's looking nice. And the same with the other one. So roll it out, and then what we're going to do is we want to cover that with dough. So I need to flatten it a little bit more because it should have at least like 2-3 centimeters on each side, else the marzipan will not be protected by the dough when baking. Alright, so I'm now rolling the dough up, basically around the marzipan. Just roll it up and then close the edges like this. And what you can do now is you can basically press in like the shape. Use like your two hands and then press it together, and then you get this stollen shape like this. I think that looks good, and this I can now transfer to a baking tray. Let's put it like here, and then we're doing it with the other dough as well. And then let's roll that around the marzipan. Then it's time to give that the stollen shape. So press it together. So let's put it on the baking tray as well. And you can now use a wet cloth, or I'm using here something on the baking tray to cover it, because we don't want the dough to dry out.
4 hours later.
The stollen looks like this right now. What I'm going to do before we bake it, we give it a little egg wash. So I'm giving it a good egg wash from all sides. It's a super expensive painting with all the ingredients. I've, by the way, preheated the oven to 220 degrees Celsius, that's 428 degrees Fahrenheit. And once I put the stollen in the oven, I will reduce immediately the temperature to 180 degrees Celsius, that's 356 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the first 20 minutes I will bake it with steam, and then after 20 minutes I will release the steam, and then the stollen bakes in total for about 50 minutes, I would say. So now it's the time to bake it. Give it some steam, reduce the temperature to 180 degrees Celsius, and that's it. So see you after the baking. Alright, roughly 1 hour and 10 minutes has passed now. I have had the stollen a little longer in the oven. So I'm taking now the stollen out of the oven. And it needs to cool down a little now. The color of the stollen is actually quite nice. If you're having some issues with your oven, so it's burning too much, then cover it with a little aluminum foil for the last 20 minutes or so. Then it should be fine. And yeah, I'm placing that now on the cooling rack, and this will now cool down for about half an hour. And then we cover everything with butter, because it will preserve the stollen. And later on we also will add sugar, but this will happen tomorrow then. I wish you could smell them. Smell is gorgeous, super lovely. Alright, around 30 minutes have been passed, and the stollen has cooled a little, and I have melted butter now. So what I'm going to do is now I'm using my brush, and I will brush some hot butter on the stollen. This will preserve it for a longer time. And later on I will let the stollen uncovered at 12 to 70 degrees for about 12 hours. So that's like 53 to 68, something like that in Fahrenheit. So give it a good brush, make sure everything is covered. And in 12 hours I will do the same basically, and then I will also add some sugar. So first of all the one side, and then I will also rotate it. So that's a little mess, But make sure you cover the whole stollen with butter. Stollen actually can be kept in your cellar for about 6 to 8 weeks. So in some regions in Germany, this is the time the stollen ripes before it's been sold to the public. This can be kept until Christmas. I mean, I won't keep it until Christmas because I will probably eat it before. But in theory, that should work. This will cool now for about 12 hours. And see you then probably tomorrow morning. Alright, welcome to the final stage of making stollen. So we have now cooled the stollen for about 12 hours. Of course, no one has 12 hours to cool. So I have cooled them for 1 hour and now I have put them half an hour in the fridge, and that's also fine. And then I'm taking again butter, as I said, and I will brush the stollen. So, and then I will turn them around once again, and I will also brush the other side of the stollen. And once this has been done, I'm taking sugar, normal sugar, and I'm putting it all over the stollen. So sugar and butter will actually preserve the stollen from molding. So put a lot of sugar. It looks good. Do a little extra. And then maybe I'm removing the cooling work here so that the stollen actually is directly placed on sugar. Then I can even use more sugar. Now let's put a little bit at the bottom as well. And here as well. I think that's enough. So looks already quite healthy, I would say. This will now chill in my basement. I will probably put a thin foil here around, and actually once it's been like dried, you can use then a thin foil and wrap it around the stollen, and either keep it in your cellar, or if you don't have a cellar with cool temperature, you can also like put it in the fridge, or eat it. I mean, you can also eat it directly. Yeah, that's it for today. I will now let it ripe for about a week, and then see you in a week.
One week later.
Welcome back. A week has passed now since I put that stollen into my cellar, and now it's time to give it a try. Let's taste it. For that I have prepared some icing sugar. You can also like eat that stollen like it is, just with the normal sugar, but I prefer to cover it with icing sugar as well. Cover it with icing sugar. It's time for a first cut. Cut a slice from the middle. This is how it looks like. And I'm now giving it a try. Really nice. Christmas is there. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If so, please write me a comment below the video, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel and turn notifications so you don't miss any of my next videos. This is definitely a good stollen. One thing that you can improve in this stollen, definitely you can soak the candied lemons and candied oranges before, so your bread will get a higher hydration and will keep longer fresh. I wish you Merry Christmas, and I hope you bake this recipe on your own. See you next time. Adieu and bye.